Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Sunday, November 9th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break down the Sunday NHL card. We have a big card. Normally, we don't get these larger Sunday NHL slates till after the NFL season. But boy, we've got a lot of games, 8, in fact, on the NHL slate today on this Sunday. We'll break it down for you in just a moment. Back to a live show today, of course. Hope you enjoyed the little pre-recorded production we gave you yesterday. And it certainly was a very good overall Saturday as far as betting results are concerned in the NHL. Started out a bit slow because we did lose the over bifecta to get the day going with Pittsburgh, New Jersey. Devils get a 2-1 win over the Penguins in a shootout there, still undefeated at home. Ottawa with a 3-2 win against the Philadelphia Flyers in overtime. Split for me there with the Flyers, but a dual draw winner for both Alex and I in that Ottawa-Philly game, plus 340. We cashed the draw there in that Sens-Flyers game. Kind of an unfortunate result for Philadelphia. They had a bad first period. They dominated. They didn't let Ottawa generate much of anything in the last two periods, but nevertheless, they couldn't capitalize on those chances. Philly and Ottawa got the opportunity in overtime, and Tim Stützle, on a very nice setup by Drake Batherson, gets the overtime winner. Poor Nashville, another loss. This time they actually get their offense going a bit. They score 4 goals, and they still lose 5-4 to the Dallas Stars yesterday. Frustrating loss for Nashville, considering they were up 3-2 going into the third, but they end up losing. They give up those back-to-back goals in less than a minute to Ernie and Sam Steele, and it turns a deficit for the Stars into a 5-4 victory. So the woes continue for Nashville, and the woes continue for the New York Rangers on home ice. This is absolutely absurd what's happening right now with the Rangers at home, and that was a perfect example of don't overthink things, Ian. Islanders was best bet material at that price, plus 140. We hit the Ice Guys show best bet yesterday. I just said, how on earth can you pass up taking any team right now at plus 140 against the New York Rangers at home, who can't score goals at home, who can't win games at home. And once again, the New York Rangers fall to defeat on home ice and with authority, getting blanked and shut out 5-0 by the Islanders. I think a real good sign for the Islanders is that Ilya Sorokin, after a rough, bumpy start to the season, has really started to get his game going. He's had a nice few starts in a row, and he gets a 33-save shutout there for the Islanders in that one. Carolina, 6-3 against Buffalo. I did lean Carolina team total over, so hope some of you maybe bet that. But Carolina gets the job done, 6-3 over the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo, tough times with some of the injuries. And like I said, Carolina, even with still multiple defensemen out, which we'll talk about again when they play Toronto later, still finding ways to get the job done without 3 starting defensemen. Montreal bounces back from a tough loss in overtime to New Jersey. They beat Utah 6-2. The Montreal over streak continues. There's multiple teams on consecutive game over streaks right now. Montreal is one of them. Another game for the Habs goes over. We were on the over in that Utah-Montreal game, so nice to cash that. And the other team that's on, this may be the biggest over streak right now of the bunch. It was the Islanders early in the season. Right now it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. 10 straight overs now for Toronto. After their game against Boston, 5-3 Bruins. We were on the over bifecta in that game. And that was a great game from a prop standpoint. Matthias Michelli, another bargain bin special hit for us at plus 470. And just momentum bet was what I was thinking with that. He finally got back into the lineup, scored against his old team. Thought he was way more dangerous offensively. And I thought maybe he can, really spring that momentum into last night and find a way to score again. And sure enough, he did. So great to cash another bargain bin there with Matthias Michelli. And I got to give a shout out too, because I bet it. I forgot to mention it on the show, and Bailey mentioned it in their YouTube comments below the show yesterday about Fraser Minton against his old team.
Nice.
And it was something I wanted to mention on the show. And I just forgot. I was in such a hurry to get that damn show finished, and I just forgot to mention it. And it was something I bet I just forgot to mention it. But thankfully, Bailey's comment reminded me of it, and it was a great hit at plus 700. for him to score against his old team.
He got
Traded away
750.
by the Leafs. Yeah,
Yeah.
traded away by the Leafs, and he gets really the dagger goal that put it away for good. He got the 5-3 goal with about 3 minutes left in the third period. So Bruins, I mean, this win streak continues for them right now. You know, these teams like Pittsburgh and Boston, you know, talked about how Pittsburgh, don't bet against them until they level off. Right now, don't bet against Boston until they level off. They will level off. They will. I don't see them continuing this indefinitely, but right now you stay away from fading them at the moment because they're playing some solid hockey. Seattle 4-3 win in overtime against St. Louis. Give them credit. They scored very late in the dying seconds and then won it in overtime. Brutal loss for St. Louis. They just can't get one step forward and 2 steps back has been the mantra for the St. Louis Blues. You shut out Buffalo, one great bounce back after the Washington loss, and then you come home and you lose in that fashion to Seattle. Just terrible for St. Louis.
That's a horrible beat if you had the under. Condolences to our guy Chris Otto. I know he was one of the people who did. That's really probably the worst beat of the season so far, and could be the runner for the worst beat of the year.
That's brutal. Yeah, and I was on the other side of that, but boy, I feel for Chris. I mean, there's no question about that.
Don't donate that money to charity, man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
when you hit something like that, that's always the running joke back home. That you donate that money because you were fortunate to get it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's like right at the death essentially. Tampa Bay beats Washington 3-2. No qualms here. Both Alex and I ended up on the same looks here, caps and draw. Unfortunately, both fall short, but no qualms. I mean, it was a coin flip game, could have went either way, and it almost did go to overtime. It was also a very nasty game, very chippy between these two teams. Good to see the fur flying a little bit with the Capitals and the Lightning in that game last night. Jacob Chikrin, of all people, getting into a fight, although he kind of had it handed to him by Chernak in that fight, but nevertheless, good to see him in one. Vancouver 4-3 against Columbus. Talked about sometimes you just bank on over series histories, and we talked about Columbus. Vancouver was 8-1-1 to the over in 10 meetings, and another one last night, 4-3 rather for the Vancouver Canucks in that one against Columbus. They get a nice win there. How about the beatdown that Colorado put on Edmonton? 9-1, horrific stuff. Skinner gets pulled. Pickard comes in and he gives up 5 goals on 16 shots, 4 goals on 9 shots. This is not just goaltending, though. It's not fair to just criticize Pickard and Skinner. The defending is beyond. That was a fucking joke last night defensively from the Edmonton Oilers. A joke. And if I'm Chris Knobloch, I am absolutely livid that my team was that lax in the D zone last night. It was a pathetic defensive performance. Pathetic by the Edmonton Oilers. I know Colorado can be lethal, but when you defend like that, a team like that can put a 9 spot on the board against you, and Edmonton found that out the hard way last night. How about the story that is the San Jose Sharks? 3-1 against Florida, back-to-back wins for them on consecutive nights. I ended up, and I put it on the Patreon page, I was on the fence about getting involved, but I said on the show, at this price, it's San Jose or pass right now, plus 200 against Florida, especially knowing Tarasov was going to start for Florida. And I put on the page, I kept the bet small. I wasn't full conviction on San Jose getting it done, but I said I have to dabble in it. The plus 200, the team total over 2.5. And sure enough, it comes through. I mean, these kids, Celebrini and Smith, the chemistry, it seems like they're inseparable off the ice. It seems like when their social media is shooting all kinds of things for the Sharks, it's always Celebrini and Will Smith together doing some kind of bit. It's almost like a duo right now. And the duo on the ice is clicking as well as far as their play. Celebrini, another solid night. 2 points for Smith, a goal for Celebrini, and a 3-1 win for the Sharks against the Panthers. And then the other team in California that's in the renaissance, San Jose's fun to watch again. San Jose's a team on the rise, which is great to see. And how about those Anaheim Ducks? It's just an incredible run it's been for Anaheim. 4-3 in overtime. Clean frickin' sweep of the board in that game for yours truly. What do we have? Anaheim money line, Anaheim team total over, first period over, full game over. And we've shit on Mrazek. Mrazek prior to last night had really struggled, but give him credit in the third period. That could have been 5 goals in the third period alone for Vegas last night. They were all over Anaheim. I think Anaheim was getting a little fatigue set in, during this road trip. And give Vegas credit. They probably got a little some words from Bruce Cassidy after the second period, and I think they probably listened to it and turned it up. And, they did get a couple goals, but can't fault Mrazek much for them. And if anything, he was definitely the reason they got a point out of it, at least got the game to overtime. And then Leo Carlsson who is another one of these kids like Bedard and Macklin, Celebrini, and now Leo Carlson, top 5 in the league in points right now in the NHL. Another great night for him. 2 goals and 1 assist, 3 points. This is a special Anaheim group, man. And I love Coach Q with his usual, raspy tone after the press conference. Yeah, we got a lot of things going on here with these guys, and it's just they're moving the puck around pretty good, and it's just they're doing a lot of good things right now, this team, and there's no panic in this team, and that's my Joe Quenneville voice right there.
That's pretty good, actually.
Pretty good. That's not bad. You gotta almost lean into the television to hear him because he's just it's a raspy voice, but it's a soft, raspy voice when you hear him talk in the pressers, and Alex knows that all too well.
That's pretty good because he pretty much lost all of his voice by the end of a third period or an overtime. So that's a good one for sure.
Go ahead, Alex. Floor is yours. Talk about Saturday.
I mean, just like I said, it was a great day of action, and you saw just various styles of play. We've of course seen draw season continue, and it seemed like in the day we might have. I'm like, could every game go to overtime? It had that feel with the first couple of games going into OT. Even that the pace with that Nashville-Dallas game was kind of back and forth at one point, like it might go past regulation. But it's just amazing to see how close and tight these games have been. Even if they don't end in 1-goal margins, we've seen 2-3 goal margins, but those empty net goals late, we've seen just this close, tight hockey continue to trend. And like you said, it's helped us with some of the betting patterns. It's helped us with cashing more of these team totals. Of course, the draws and things of different nature, but it's really interesting to look at, like I said, how teams are starting early and trying to catch on the trends. And I know there's a lot of people who were concerned yesterday, and especially with the lack of confirmation earlier on with the Ducks, who's going to be in net. Was it going to be Dostal or Mrazek with a back-to-back spot? And the way this team is rolling, I said I have no problems backing either goalie in this situation. Now, tonight, we talk about later, it might be a little different. But you have to know when you're jumping on a train, more or less, and when you're riding a streak, or when, like you said, to kind of stay away from a streak or try not to run against a streak in the terms of Boston and Pittsburgh. But these are two teams, like I said, we just keep waiting for the bottom to drop, and it hasn't happened yet. So I just haven't been touching those games. It's not really costing me any money, but I feel like I'm saving money in the process by just trying to go against these teams that are constantly winning. But I also, at the same time, you have that feeling where if I get on this team now, this is where the tide turns, and now I'm still going to end up getting screwed. So those are the things you have to look and identify. Anaheim right now is a team that if you haven't jumped on the train, I would say you might have missed the boat at this point. Yesterday seemed to be kind of that cutoff point. Now they have a tough spot in the second night of back-to-backs against Winnipeg, and then the schedule gets a little tougher moving forward. But like I said, that's why we talked about it. Adamantly that first couple of weeks of the season, grab these Anaheim prices now while they're this inflated, because you're going to start seeing things going back closer to pick 'em, going to, where they're favored minus 120, 130 at home, 140 at home. You're not going to get those plus 160s, 170s that we've been cashing this week with that team.
Yeah, I mean, you've been getting crushed right now if you've been, trying to say, okay, this team is due for a loss. I mean, it's just been crazy, all these streaks, teams on streaks. It's been pretty wild to see it. So from that standpoint, riding the streaks has always been a big staple of the way I've approached things from a betting standpoint. So like I said, it's worked out well for me. There's no question. All right, let's get into Sunday, because we do have a game that's about to start in 15 minutes. We've got Original Six. This was a time when we're old enough to remember Chicago, Detroit were division rivals, and it was a great rivalry, one of the best in hockey. We've lost that over the years, but it's still special when twice a year these two teams go head to head. We've got Chicago, Detroit to get the Sunday card started. Detroit minus 180, home favorite, 6 the total in this game. This is a 1 p.m. Eastern start. My bad. I said 15 minutes. I thought it was 12:30. No, 1 p.m. Eastern here in Detroit for this game. I'm not moving on anything yet. We're waiting to see who's in net, obviously, for Chicago. Frank Nazar, day-to-day. We haven't really had an update from Jeff Blashill about that. Last I saw, it was going to be a game-time decision for him to play against Detroit. John Gibson will be in net for Detroit. Chicago, obviously, we had them against Vancouver and Calgary. Both Alex and I were on the Blackhawks in both of those games as they, we talked about going into the Vancouver game. They need a win on this road trip. They had gone 0-3 on the road trip. They stepped up. They got the win against Vancouver 5-2, the shutout win against Calgary. Spencer Knight's been brilliant. But you've been on the road for a while. This is the 6th and final leg of the road trip. And, the prospects of me backing Chicago in this spot, especially if Arvid Soderblom's in net, go way down in this game. So I'm just waiting on that before I move on this game, and I'm not even sure I will. Detroit has owned Chicago, by the way. 5 straight wins, 7-3 as well in the last 10 meetings for the Red Wings over the Blackhawks. And you got the Red Wings coming off back-to-back losses, including a 4-1 home loss to the New York Rangers on Friday night. So I would expect a good effort here from Detroit. I'm probably going to pump the brakes on back in Chicago today in this spot. Again, waiting on goalie confirmations, but at the moment, nothing here. Alex, what do you think, Chicago, Detroit?
Yeah, it's a matter of goalie confirmations, and we'll be keeping it up to date as soon as we hear something. But if this is Spencer Knight, I will take one more shot, smaller than I have been playing with the Hawks. Like I said, just kind of riding this wave and the positive momentum of ending this road trip. If it's Soderblom, I'm going to be taking a shot with the draw. I feel like he could still keep it close. We've seen him play well. We've seen the defense play much better in front of him as well, and they just haven't been giving him the goal support. So that's the way I'm playing this. It's dog if it's Knight, draw if it's Soderblom.
All right. Good stuff. All right, L.A. Pittsburgh. We've got L.A. minus 150 road favorites in this game. 6 the total. This is the second afternoon game, the only other afternoon game here on this NHL Sunday. Pittsburgh's actually won 3 straight versus the L.A. Kings. We'll see if they can carry over that head-to-head success here in this game, coming off a 2-1 shootout loss to the New Jersey Devils yesterday. L.A. has been idle since Thursday, when they lost 5-2 to the Florida Panthers at home. Now starting this road trip that's going to be a pretty lengthy one here for the LA Kings in Pittsburgh tonight. Then they go through Eastern Canada, the Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa swing after this for the LA Kings. LA last year, great at home, awful on the road. Kind of been the reverse this year. They're 5-1-2 on the road, just 1-6 at home so far this season. We look at the head-to-head series between these two teams. They met in Pittsburgh last year. And by the way, they already faced each other earlier this year, back in October. I remember that spot. I took a big underdog price with Pittsburgh, and they ended up winning that game 4-2 in LA. And that was a game where the Kings got off to a good start and then ended up coughing up the lead. They were up, 2-0. I remember that game after the first period. They ended up losing 4-2. Revenge for the Kings. I think the Kings are in a better spot here. It's back-to-back for Pittsburgh. Rest advantage, starting a road trip off a loss. That's pretty good focus. I could see the Kings winning, but there's still no chance in hell I'm laying minus 150 with them here on the road. Sergei Murashov has been confirmed, by the way, in net for the Penguins. He will make his NHL debut. This is a guy that with Wilkes-Barre Scranton in the AHL this year, 5-2. With a 1.73 goals against average, 931 save percentage. Terrific numbers down there for Murashov. But again, with all these guys that are coming up to the NHL, we do want to see it at the NHL level. I think the draw I will sprinkle on in this game because that's what I kind of have some interest in. East versus West. Last year in Pittsburgh, the game went to overtime between the Kings and the Penguins. So I think I will sprinkle on the draw. That's probably all I'll have on this game, pregame. Alex, what do you think, Kings, Penguins?
Yeah, I would take a small shot of the draw, but I would lean maybe more toward Pittsburgh. This is one I'll be watching and kind of getting a little live look on going between the Hawks game and this. Sergei Murashov's numbers have been really good in the AHL and the ECHL last couple of years. He had a 12-3 run with a 2.64 goals against in the 24-25 season. In his limited time in the AHL, split with a 17-7-1 record down in the ECHL with Wheeling. So this is a guy that they've seemed to be really high on. Actually, kind of seems like he's moved ahead of Blomqvist as far as the guys who are moving up and being the future in net. So let's see what happens with him. But this could be a spot. Like I said, Kings, a little early start time as well. Pittsburgh's used to playing these games on a Sunday. I think we maybe see Penguins continue to roll. So I like the draw pregame, but may look for Penguins alive.
All right, good stuff. Like I said, I think this definitely has some overtime potential here with the Kings and the Penguins here. So we'll see. Do we trust either team to gain separation? Not necessarily as well. So that's definitely something to factor in. Prop-wise, there are a couple that I'm interested in. I'm talking about Ben Kindle. No, not the ebooks. I'm talking about Ben Kindle, the hockey player, on the top line right now with Crosby and Rust. Worth a look, in my opinion, for the Penguins, as long as he stays up there on that top line. We've got LA Kings. Armia has been on the top line with Kopitar and Kempe. So there's probably some solid goal prop value there with him on that top line for the Los Angeles Kings. So keep that in mind. All right, next up, we've got the rest of the games, by the way, are at night. I want to just preface that. We've got Seattle and Dallas. Dallas minus 220. Home favorites in this game. Back-to-back for both teams, but I didn't want to make a big deal of it coming into the season that Seattle was so beyond atrocious on a back-to-back last year. I said, well, wait a minute. We got a brand new head coach in Lane Lambert. We got a new system. It's a new team. It's a new year. Maybe this team that maybe will be better this year on a back-to-back. And I believe this year they're winless so far on a back-to-back when the Seattle Kraken have had that opportunity. And I'm just looking at the past results so far this season for the Kraken. Yeah, they've had, let me see here. Yeah, just the one back-to-back. They were at Philly on October 20. They lost 5-2. And then at Washington the next night, they lost 4-1. So it's been pretty darn dismal, this team on the second night of a back-to-back. Last year, and 0-1 already this year for the Seattle Kraken on the second night of a back-to-back. So, yeah, it's really bad. It's like this is almost hard to believe that they have been this miserable, the Seattle Kraken, on a back-to-back. 0-13 dating back to last year. And in 12 of the 13 back-to-backs, they've been beaten by 2 goals or more. So I'm going to dabble in the Stars puck line here. Puck lines I don't do very much of, but I will dabble in it here in this back-to-back. Dallas won 5-4 yesterday. Seattle with the thrilling comeback win. And when you have that kind of comeback win like Seattle had against St. Louis, maybe you do fall a little bit flat here in this game. Not to mention, if you're Dallas, don't you have to step up on home ice? I mean, you have given your home fans, that Anaheim game was pretty pathetic defensively, at least, the other night when you lost 7-5 to Anaheim. So I think you owe it to the Stars fans there to dig in and play a little bit better this time around on home ice. So, yeah, we'll get involved here. This is just simply a trend bet. Normally, I'm not a big fan of puck lines with the bigger favorites, but right now it's hard to ignore it at the moment with just, how absolutely horrendous the Seattle Kraken have been going back to last year in this back-to-back scenario. And we might see Matt Murray getting the start here for the Seattle Kraken as well. Keep an eye on that. Joey Decord is on IR. We are not going to see him. He was placed on IR Saturday. Will be unavailable, they said, for at least the next 3 games. So you saw Grubauer yesterday, which is why I got on that Blues Kraken over. I got lucky as shit with it. But the reason I bet it was because Grubauer was announced in net for the Kraken. Matt Murray's not much of an upgrade, we think. I mean, he came in a tough spot when Decord got pulled earlier this week, and he gave up a goal in the first shot he faced. But nevertheless, Matt Murray is not the Matt Murray of the Pittsburgh Penguin days when he was winning the Stanley Cup. So I will go Dallas here. Probably a split team total over and puck line here on the Stars. Alex, what do you think here? Seattle, Dallas.
And I did want to preface that it is the Matt Murray who played with Pittsburgh, not the Matt Murray who was formerly with the Dallas organization. So
right.
It's not that
Murray.
Right, correct. Not that scenario, which could arise at some point. I think he's with Nashville now, actually. But like I said, you got to fade Seattle in some type of way. Now, I don't feel as comfortable taking the puck line. I'm going to play the team total over 3.5 minus 118. And like I said, especially if we do see Murray in that, this has to be a game where Dallas gets their offense rolling. You can't win this game 2-0, in my opinion, 3-0. You got to, like I said, really get everything coming the way that we know this team can play. And that's the offense. And so I'm definitely looking for goals here from Dallas. And they got to do something, with a lot more energy and emphasis, especially in the home crowd, especially against a team you've dominated and a team that is horrible in these situations. So give me Dallas team total. Best price I see is minus $1.18 over at FanDuel.
All right, good stuff there. Just as far as a prop goes on the Dallas side of things, Ritskovian scored last game. We're going to roll back with him. Maverick Bourque, he's getting still a lot of leeway and runway, I should say, up the lineup a little bit. So we'll see if those two can connect right now for the Dallas Stars. Sam Steele, scored the last game. It's about damn time if they're going to put him with. He's been with Wyatt Johnston and Mikko Rantanen in the last couple, so probably some value there as well. All right, Utah, Ottawa. Ottawa minus 115 home favorite, 6 the total here in this one. Back-to-back for both teams. you've got Ottawa off the win against Philadelphia earlier in the day on Saturday, early afternoon start in Philly, winning in overtime 3-2. And you have the Utah Mammoth off a 6-2 loss in Montreal. I would personally rather have the team off the loss than the team off the win. Vanacek should start here because we saw Vejmelka last night in Montreal. We should see Vitek Vanacek here. He lost the last start he had against Toronto. He did win his previous 2 starts before that, 2-2, 2.52 goals against, .885 save percentage for him. Ottawa on the back-to-back. This feels like this could be a spot for Travis Green to start Levi Merilainen here. He was a guy that's was very good last year for Ottawa, has not really duplicated that same success so far this season. 4.58 goals against, .833 save percentage. He's also someone that really had a tough time in the preseason, struggled a bit for the Senators. So, like I said, I think Utah could be the way to go here. I'm waiting on the goalie confirmation just to make it official, but a Merilainen sighting might get me to look to Utah here in this game. I'm going to dabble on the draw here as well. Kind of does feel like this could be a potential draw spot for these two teams. Ottawa suddenly the last few games, they played a lot of close hockey, 1-goal games, 4 straight have gone past regulation for them. So Utah on the draw, I'm interested with this one. There we go. Alex, what do you think here? Mammoth Senators.
Yeah, it's dog, draw, and Dylan Gunther to get the winner in overtime. That's kind of the way I'm rocking with it, with the Mammoth games going past 60. But like I said, Ottawa, got to keep riding this run while it's hot, 3 in a row, hoping to be 4 in a row with games going past regulation.
There we go. Yeah, Parlay Pinto. Parlay Pinto's cooled off, but yeah, 3 goals and 2 versus that's Vejmelka, I think you're talking about. I don't think we're going to see him, though, John. I think it's going to be probably Vanacek. But like I said, there's still something to keep in mind. You mentioned with the Zetterlund. Yeah, the over, yes, Nick. The over, yes, but I'm waiting to see if it's Merilainen in net. I do lean over, yes, definitely in this game. No question about that. Probably over by Fekta because – Ottawa, other than the Boston game, Ottawa has been kind of trending over in the first period lately in their games. So definitely, I think, there we go. He did mean Vanacek. Okay, so yeah, Utah, draw, maybe the over by Fekta if we get Vanacek versus Merilainen. I'll probably add the over by Fekta here as well if that's the case. All right, good stuff. Just as far as props, there's a couple more. I think the Nick Cousins experiment might be done because it looks like Ridley Gregg is with Stützle and Perron. Zetterlund, as Jonathan mentions, had good success against Vanacek. So those are a couple props to look at for Ottawa, for Utah right now. Yes, Dylan Gunther could be worth a shot. Michael Carcone is very streaky, and he's scored a couple of times lately, so maybe dabble with that. All right, next up, this is Carolina and Toronto. Yes, this is a rare home game on a Sunday.
We got to announce something before we get to the next game.
Yes, correct.
Just so you know.
Yes, I saw that. We have breaking news. Let's rock with that. We got some breaking news to announce.
This is breaking news from the Ice Guys.
All right, I'll let Alex take this one away.
Yep, coming in from Ben Pope, writer for the Sun-Times for the Blackhawks, says Arvid Soderblom is starting in net, and Frank Nazar is on the ice for warm-ups. They're saying it's still game-time decision, so he's at least skating. That's a good sign. And then obviously there was nothing long-term when he got hurt late in that game against Calgary. He is on the ice. Arvid Soderblom's in net. That means I am on the draw, plus 340 with Hawks in Detroit.
Hawks and Red Wings draw, official edition here for Alex in this one. All right, we've got, as I mentioned, we've got the Hall of Fame game is what this is tonight. Hall of Fame weekend. The induction will be tomorrow night, as it always is on a Monday in Toronto of this year's Hall of Fame class. And this is the Hall of Fame. It used to be on a Friday night. They put it on a Sunday this year. Very interesting. But Carolina, Toronto, Carolina minus 130, road favorites, 6.5 being the total here in this game. You know what we're doing here. Toronto over. It's 10 straight. I mean, we ride it till the wheels fall off, baby. That's what we're doing here with Carolina and Toronto. 10 straight overs with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we might get a Dennis Hildeby start. I think we will. Stolarz needs a rest. I know he got pulled last night. Hildeby finished the game. Makes you think that maybe they go back to Stolarz today, but I think he needs kind of the rest here, recharge a little bit, and give Hildeby, because I think Hildeby was initially going to get this start anyway tonight. For Carolina. And the reason he's up and not Wohl is because Wohl's still on his conditioning stint. He's not quite ready yet to be the official backup to Stolarz. That'll be very soon, but just not yet. So Hildeby is going to get the start here for the Toronto Maple Leafs in this game. We saw Kochetkov last night, which didn't surprise me because I figured Rod Brindamore might save Anderson for Toronto as one of his old teams. So Frederick Anderson will get the start here. Not to mention, Carolina with the 3 starting defensemen out, they're always vulnerable, more vulnerable now to giving up goals. They did give up 3 to a Buffalo team that only had 1 goal in 2 games combined before that. So, yeah, this is just a straightforward over 6.5 for me. If it ain't broke, don't fix it with these Leafs overs. Alex, what do you think here? Canes, Leafs.
This is one where I'm going to wait live and try and get a better price on the first period over and try to get an over 6. And I'd be worried a little bit with over 6.5 or, anything higher than that with the Hildeby because we talked about it. I believe Hildeby should have been the guy that came up behind, Stolarz when Wall was out. Probably wouldn't have seen as many overs running if he'd been the guy up the whole time. I think he's a decent goaltender who should be given a fair shake here in the NHL level. So maybe he comes out and has a great game. It could be a little shaky. And Anderson's one of those guys that even though going against his old team, he's still susceptible to giving up some soft goals, especially early. So live looks at the over, but like I said, I'm heavier on the first period looks than the full game.
There we go. Yeah, I'm going to wait. I want the first period over too, but I'm going to wait for that live in game. And you're right. You could probably even wait for the full game if you get a few minutes of scoreless hockey. You're going to end up getting obviously a better number, and maybe 6 and even 5.5 will start to show up pretty quickly. And by the way, shout out to the great class this year. It is a very good. It's always a great class, right? Zdeno Chara, Duncan Keith, Alexander McGillney. Finally, Matt McGillney is in the Hall of Fame. Joe Thornton, and then a couple of great female players, Brianna Decker, Jennifer Botterill, who of course is on television, both sides of the border, Sportsnet, TNT, the last few years, and Danielle Sauvageau, she was a longtime coach in women's hockey, so it's a good class. It always is. Congratulations to them. They will be in the building tonight and honored before the game. They always bring out the Hall of Fame class before the Hall of Fame game starts. So it'll be good to see that before puck drop tonight in this one. As far as I'm going to ride the wave again. He's not going to be the bargain bin this time. Just a spoiler alert. But we will take Matias Michelli one more time here. Nick Robertson, too, playing with Tavares and McMahon. I think that might be worth a look here in this game. For Carolina, you've got certainly Logan Stankoven, is someone that's been pretty good for this team. Keep an eye on some of these defensemen too. With there's tons of value in like your Nikishin, Walker, Miller props on the blue line right now for Carolina with all these injuries. To Slavin still out, Gostisbehere still out, and Jalen Chatfield out as well. So definitely, like I said, worth a shot. Terry Ray Vegas, good stat. That's worth highlighting. Over has hit 10-0 when the Leafs are on back to back. So 10-0 overrun on a back-to-back for the Leafs, too.
Wow.
Holy man.
Combined with the current run. And
the current overall run to the over is 10-0 in their last 10. What could go wrong? Watch it be like 3-1. Hopefully not. All right, next up, we've got Calgary, Minnesota. Minnesota minus 155 home favorites. The total here, this is 6.5. And my first thought is, whoa, 6.5 with the Flames and the Wild. But then I see Jesper Wallstedt and I see Devin Cooley announced as your starting goaltenders. And I don't know. I'm still waiting for Wallstedt to impress me. I'm not there yet with him at this point in time. And Cooley is, he's not Dustin Wolf. So maybe the over is justified here in this Calgary, Minnesota game. I'm going to dabble on the draw here. This is a draw dabble for me here, Flames and Wild. I kind of think there is a case for the over, just because Minnesota, look, anyone that loves the expected goals numbers and all that stuff, which I pay attention to it. I don't make decisions based on it, but Minnesota's off the expected goals numbers for weeks have been off the charts. For weeks, they've been a team that's supposed to be scoring more goals than they have. And now all of a sudden, the last couple of games, the goals are starting to go in. They put up 3 against Carolina, pretty good team, and then they erupted for 5 against the Islanders the other night. So maybe some of those goals they should be scoring are starting to go in now. I'm just going to see if I can take my chances and wait for a better number in game with the over by Fecta. I have some interest in it. And Calgary is a team that after struggling to score early in the season, they've been scoring a bit more lately, and they've had a few more overs lately as well. And look, it is the shutout system off a shutout loss to Chicago. 4-0 on Friday. That usually means bet over by Fecta next game. It almost got there with the Red Wings Rangers on Friday night. We had the first period over, but full game over fell short, 4-1. So I'm going to wait for the over by Fecta. Just feel we could maybe get better in game with it. Alex, what do you think? And the draw pregame. Alex, what do you think? Calgary, Minnesota.
I'm betting both teams to score in the first plus 148 pregame, and then waiting for the rest of the over. So over trifecta, but both teams to score pregame, first period, and full game over in game. I think we could have some time. I think it may be a full 5-6 minutes before we see the momentum to get those first couple of goals here. And that's just kind of how the Wild, especially on Sundays, kind of those odd start times, they start a little slow right out of the gate. And then once they get that timeout, they get kind of the legs moving under them. That's when we start to see things kind of open up. And like I said, Calgary with that defense, 6.5 makes sense. It's funny. Cooley's looked decent in the couple of games he's had this year. Jesper Wallstedt, I don't know. It seems like everything that people were saying about him the last couple of years just kind of went out the window somehow. I don't know what's going on with him. This goes back to his second half run in Iowa where he ended up being demoted to the backup down there. And he just does not look like the guy that we saw 2-3 years ago. So I know the Wild have to be, obviously you're not concerned long term. That's why you signed Gustafsson, but certainly just have to wonder, when is his momentum going to start to turn back from what we saw, earlier on when he was the top prospect.
Yeah, exactly. I'm waiting for it too, and I just haven't seen it consistently. There's one prop I'm going to take a shot with goal prop wise here. Brock Faber, the defenseman, back-to-back games with a goal, and you're getting plus 700. Why not? Why not a little sprinkle there with Brock Faber for the Minnesota Wild? All right, Colorado, Vancouver. Colorado minus 190 road favorites, 6.5 the total. How did the Avalanche follow up an ass-kicking that they laid on the Edmonton Oilers last night, 9-1? Boy, oh boy, what a thumping that was. It looks like tonight, now again, last night we saw Kevin Lankinen. It's still a day-to-day absence for Thatcher Demko for the Vancouver Canucks. So it looks like Jiri Patera. This guy was a guy that was in the Vegas organization for a bit. He's now going to potentially start here in net for the Vancouver Canucks. Patera, 1-3 rather, 3.1 goals against average, .894 save percentage in his 5 AHL appearances this year. That's not great numbers down there. And you got to face a Colorado team that just put 9 goals on the board in their last game against the Edmonton Oilers. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. I'm waiting on goalie confirmation. This is definitely a check the Patreon page game as far as whether I get involved in it. The first period over, says Terry Ray Vegas, 7-1 run to the first period over for the Colorado Avalanche. I could see that for sure. I'm just waiting on the goalie confirmations. Colorado team total over clearly is a lean for me, but I'm just waiting to see how the goalie information shakes out. With Wedgwood starting last night, there's probably a decent chance that we get Blackwood here tonight on the back-to-back. And here's another team that's on a overrun. Vancouver, suddenly. 5 straight Canucks games have gone over the total entering tonight. Alex, what do you think here? Colorado, Vancouver.
Yeah, just still checking to see if Nazar is actually going to play or not. But this is one where I like first period over, and I don't mind actually laying the $1.35. Cutoff point here would be $1.40. Anything higher than that, of course, wait a couple minutes and get a better price. But like I said, especially if we see a Jiri Patera sighting, you just wonder if Colorado used up all their offense last night. That's the worry when you see teams. We joke, but that's a legitimate worry when you start talking about 8-9 goals at a game, and then the next night coming back over. So maybe there'll be time to wait and get a better price. But I'm gonna play at least small, minus 135 on the first period over, and then wait for that to creep down, maybe add a little bit more if I see that pace increase. But that's the only thing I like. I'm even worried about team total over 3.5 because maybe the Avs get a couple goals early and they're able to suffocate Vancouver, and it's a 3-1 kind of a game. So,
correct.
That's the way I'm just going to play that. A little piece of the first period over now, a little piece to add later.
Good stuff there. All right. As far as props in this game, not a whole lot other than Garland and Sherwood maybe on the Vancouver side. I'd be interested in that. There's a good point from Jonathan. Big Val Nichushkin's the one guy that's had some success against Patera head-to-head in the past. All right, our final game, the Winnipeg Jets and the hottest damn team in the NHL right now, the Anaheim Ducks. Winnipeg minus 140, road favorite, 6 the total. You got to assume now Lukas Dostal gets this game because Mrazek got the game last night. Should see Lukas Dostal tonight for Anaheim. You would think we would see Connor Hellebuck here, but he is off back-to-back losses to San Jose and LA. Now, he didn't play bad. gave up 2 goals in each game. They didn't score for them. The Jets' offense has kind of disappeared. 1 goal against San Jose, shut out by LA in the first 2 games of this road trip. They do have the rest advantage. They've been off since Friday, and that loss to San Jose. Anaheim's coming in on a back-to-back following being in Vegas. Could this be the night where finally Anaheim gets tripped up? Maybe, but we're riding the streak till it ends, man. That's just what we're doing. Anaheim plus 120 for me, split with team total over 2.5 again for me. I mean, this Ducks team just keeps scoring, winning, scoring 3 goals and winning, 1 or both in every recent game. That's what we're rolling with right now. Anaheim, again, money line and team total over. As far as the full game total, we'll see. Depends on, I might tack on the full game over if it's Comrie on the Winnipeg side. But like I said, we're just riding it till it ends, man. I mean, it's just Anaheim money line, Anaheim team total over. It's just been over and just constant, repeated that it's come through. And like I said, they're not going to win every game the rest of the season, but until it stops cashing, we're going to keep on rocking with it. Alex, what do you think here? Jets, Ducks.
Yeah, right there with you. Smaller piece of the team. So it's funny, I didn't have the team total last night, but I will add a little small piece of that team total there. Minus 135 up to 145 is what I'm seeing. It's a little steep, but like I said, with this run, that's certainly worth it. And like I said, I like adding that, especially because it's a bit of a tricky spot, even though it's still all the better goalie starting. But like I said, over the second night of back-to-back, and shouldn't be that much fatigue early, but still, it could be. This is still a tough Winnipeg team, a formidable team. But I will also have Anaheim. I got plus 122 as to be exact on the money line.
And again, the team totals are still 2.5 for Anaheim. There's been 0 adjustment. You're still getting 2.5 on the Anaheim team total here in this game. So it just continues to be absolutely tremendous as far as that goes. Just like Leo Carlson and Cutter Gauthier and you go on to Chris Kreider. I mean, it's just everybody's been chipping in right now for the Anaheim Ducks, which has been great to see during this great run. So we'll see if they can keep this win streak going. Entering tonight, they're now at 6 straight wins, and they've actually played Winnipeg, tough. Since the start of last year, Anaheim's 2-1 against the Jets. And in the 3 meetings, 2-1, and the 1 Winnipeg win against Anaheim was in overtime. So I might dabble in this draw a little bit too. Jets and Ducks, but again, waiting to see that it for sure is it will be Dostal for Anaheim. I'm confident. It's going to be, is it Hellebuck again, or is it Comrie for Winnipeg? That's what I'm a little bit more unsure of. All right, great show, great stuff. Appreciate everyone joining us here on a Sunday. We try to speed along so we can get out before the NFL starts. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Check out wizardsportspicks.com. Speaking of NFL card is up on the page. It's been a great winning, profitable NFL run, college football run. NHL is still, for me, pretty good. 15-8 now in the NHL with the streak. College basketball profitable. Check out all the great handicappers. It's a really great roster of handicappers. So check it out there. Of course, I'm there. Alex B. Smith is there. Matt Robinson is there, and plenty more. And check out Beyond the Lines, the daily video show on the Wizard Sports Picks YouTube channel. I'm hosting that 2 days a week, Sundays and Thursdays. So check that out as well at wizardsportspicks.com. And of course, patreon.com/Ice Guys, $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, bonus content, daily cards, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. It was a great result with the Patreon card yesterday, so make sure you get on board. Your $10 per month membership and subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping us going long term. So check it out, $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Said it's getting cold as hell outside. It was 10 degrees this morning when I woke up here in St. Paul. So winter's officially here. Get a winter hat, get a jacket, get a hoodie, get some stuff to layer up with this year, and get it right now at the Ice Guys store. It's over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Bargain bin special of the night. Best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
the kings and queens shop.
Check out all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code Ice Guys. All right, bargain bin special of the night. We're on a consecutive day bargain bin special streak. One bargain bin from one of us has hit in consecutive days. We'll try to keep it rolling here on this Sunday. Alex, bargain bin special.
I got a pair of them. One starting really soon, and it's the Hawks game against the Red Wings. We're going to Ilya Mikheyev. Anytime goal scorer, you can get that plus 500 at a couple of shops. That's bargain bin special number one. My second bargain bin special for the night, that'll be up the street, Grand Casino Arena. You got Calgary taking on Minnesota. He's right there on the cut line at plus 300. It's Marco Rossi, anytime goal scorer for the Minnesota Wild. So Mikheyev in a few minutes. Later tonight, Marco Rossi, plus 300 anytime goal scorer. Those are my bargain bin specials for Sunday.
All right, good stuff. Marco Rossi, Minnesota. Ilya Mikheyev, Chicago. Two bargain bin specials for Alex B. Smith for this Sunday. My bargain bin special, it's not going to be Michelli this time. It's going to be a surging goal scorer for the Ottawa Senators, looking for his fourth straight game with a goal. We're going to go to Michael Amadio for the Ottawa Senators, plus 540 against the Utah Mammoth. He is looking for 4 straight games with a goal. Michael Amadio, Ottawa Senators, plus 540 for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like here for best bet?
Well, we were on it last night. It came on through in overtime. We'll go back to the well with the Anaheim Ducks. You can get plus 122, the best price available on the money line. Anaheim Ducks, that's my Sunday best bet.
All right, Anaheim was Alex's best bet last night, came through. Go back to the well tonight. Anaheim plus 120 against Winnipeg for best bet. My best bet for this Sunday NHL slate, there's a lot of decent choices, especially in the night slate, night action. Let's go with, I'm just going to go with that over in the Toronto game. 10 straight overs. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Over 6.5, minus 110. Carolina, Toronto. Looking for 11 straight Leaf games over the total for my best bet for this Sunday. Shout out to everyone in the chat at the like button. We appreciate it very much. And again, we're back tomorrow, approximately 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be around that range once the college football show is over. A 4-game slate, so it'll be a quick show tomorrow as well. And a reminder, we announced it this past week, free-for-all live betcast for the month of November, Tuesday, November 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern time is our live betcast that'll be free-for-all in the month of November. November 18, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you join us for that Ice Guys live betcast. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back with you tomorrow on Monday for another edition of the Ice Guys.